Human capital is the combination of knowledge, skills, and personal qualities needed to create economic value through work. We have long assumed that investing in human capital through education creates economic growth and improves productivity, putting more people into better paid jobs. But in the UK, while the proportion of the workforce with higher level qualifications has risen, this has not been matched by similar increases in productivity or in real wages. Alison Wolf is Professor of Public Sector Management at King's Business School. Her research explores ways to make post-16 education work better for young people, employers, and society. Her findings have shaped the development of policy in this area by establishing 3 important principles.
Literacy and numeracy are fundamental, and employers complain all the time when they don't find the skills among school leavers. If you don't have decent skills, which in this country would basically be at least a GCSE pass, your chances in life are very badly harmed. What I recommended to the government, and what they did eventually, was that young people who hadn't passed GCSE at age 15 or 16 but who stayed in school, which these days is pretty much everybody, should go on studying English and maths. Essentially, they should hopefully get a GCSE by the time they left school, but they should definitely go on studying it.
Baroness Wolf's recommendations have helped ensure that more students who did not achieve good GCSE passes in maths and English at age 16 now go on to secure these grades at a later attempt. Overall, more of this age group now hold these important qualifications. In 2014, the government established an independent panel to look at the lack of quality technical education pathways in the later years of secondary school. Professor Wolf was invited to join the panel and co-authored the report. The report drew on her research illustrating the discrepancies between what employers wanted and valued and how government funding was allocated.
I did both research and then wrote a report for the government looking at what was happening and making recommendations. Given the enormous importance that we find for earnings and just successful citizenship of having English and maths, the school system just had to be changed to make them absolutely central. That was what was needed for young people's life chances and well-being. What we have had until recently for 16 to 18-year-olds, A-levels that everybody understands, and just thousands of other things that nobody understands. And that's actually very bad for the people who have them, because nobody knows what they're worth.
Instead of providing funding for more than 13,000 qualifications for 16 to 18-year-olds, the government is rolling out plans to simplify things for both young people and employers. They want young people to choose between A-levels in academic subjects, a tightly controlled range of T-levels with mandatory workplace placements and compulsory English, maths and digital skills, and apprenticeships, which are employer-led.
A lot of governments have thought it would be a magic bullet to send everybody to university and then everybody would get paid the amount that employers paid graduates from top universities. And a huge amount of money has gone into expanding universities rather than expanding apprenticeships or college courses for people going into skilled trades. What my research indicated was that we were hitting a lot of skill shortages as a result, that adults' chances were deteriorating, and that actually this didn't make economic sense. The idea that the more people you put into university, the faster the economy would grow, the evidence just doesn't stand up.
In keeping with these findings, in 2019, the government announced investment in the further education colleges that deliver most technical education in the UK. In May 2021, it committed to legislation promising a shift to a more flexible approach to post-18 education, including the lifetime learning allowance.
The most recent review that I was involved in for government was something called the Auger Review, because it was headed by Philip Auger. And we were asked to look at the whole post-18 system, basically. So the most important thing that we recommended was that every adult should have a lifetime allowance that they could use in a really flexible way, and use it for technical education in FE colleges or for doing modules, not just for doing a full degree. So that was our most important recommendation, was a flexible lifetime allowance so that everybody could study as and when they liked at higher levels, including university at 18.
So, as the job market changes and career aspirations evolve, it will now become easier for people to shift between different educational pathways.